Absolutely, but it had a real. I mean, that's a nice comparison too, in so many different ways. When I think of a gig before no audience in an unusual setting that you film, it's hard to find, and maybe being the rock cat that you are, you can plug it in. Is there another recording like that comes to mind besides Pompeii and your own? Are there a few other like no audience performances like that?
It's interesting. I never even really thought about it, but nothing pops in my head.
Yeah. You know? Same here. I mean, it's so in some ways that there aren't a whole lot of other concerts to compare it to.
Yeah, a lot of bands would be freaked out because it's almost like recording something in your rehearsal space, only you're out in the field, which it's one thing if you're in a rehearsal space and you still get the vibe of the PA and there's lights, but this was like, I mean, I'm from a 118-acre farm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it was a trip because I used to set my drums up out in the field because no one was around for a mile. So it kind of took me back to when I was a kid. It was freaking me out because of the smell of the feels and you know what I mean. There was no like vibe of a gig, so it really like took you out of your element. My girlfriend was watching it. She's like, you're not going like a maniac nuts like you usually do. I'm like, because I was tripping on the whole vibe of it. We were just like kind of grooving and not just putting on the full show. It was different, you know.
Yeah, and I can imagine the aromatherapy, what you're talking about, that like as you could smell stuff, you remembered like, wow, I feel like I'm a kid like shedding in the field.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Flashbacks.
That's cool. When moving forward and thinking about, I'm a drummer too. I mean, I don't play like regularly or anything, but that was my instrument growing up, and I had, coming down here. Full disclosure, we expected to talk to Monkey. Monkey isn't here yet, and we get Brother Ray, who is, dude, you were slaying on that Encounter thing. As I watched last night, I was listening to you. So I always like to do this when I have drummers. Like, I'll tell you a couple of my favorites if you tell me some of your favorite cats.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I grew up, I was a rock. I was self-taught, so I just played the stacks of records from Beatles to Elvis to Rush to AC/DC, Kiss, Ozzy, you name it, like all those bands. No one said like this is how you play. I just tapped along until it sounded, I thought, was cool, and playing along with Zeppelin records. I always knew it was hard to play to Rush records than it was Back in Black. You know what I mean? It was a little bit, but and then when I got to school, I got taught how to play. I know what a quarter note was, and I played marching bands, and I got taught, dynamics and different styles, and then I finally went to PIT in Los Angeles, and then ended up teaching there later because there was not really rock programs there. It was a lot of jazz, Latin, and funk, but yeah,
So we could put any charts in front of you, and you'd just be able to take it on.
Yeah, not so much. I'm more of a heart player and by the ear. You know what I mean? Like I can read, but I'd much rather, if you give me a CD or the chart, I'll definitely pick the CD
because for a learning mechanism.
Yeah, I want to feel it. You know what I mean? I don't like. And there's a lot of cats out there can read a piece of paper and make it feel good. I really can't. I'm concentrating too much. It sounds like a robot when I'm done. So I want to feel it.
You nailed the stuff. So tell me, who were some of your favorite cats, your personal cats?
Man, I would say like from Neil Peart to Peter Criss from Kiss. I mean, God, on the farm, they just were on the cover of everything. So I worshiped that guy. It was like such a big influence. But of course, like Terry Bozzio, I was way back in the Zappa days, and that always like Buddy Rich, of course, and just cats like that,
So your ultimate favorites, I'm hearing, is Peter Criss literally among your very favorite?
Yeah, absolutely. It's weird. A lot of drummers laugh, but man, I played along with so many Kiss records till my hands fell off.
Bro, Baby Driver is one of my very favorite songs, period.
You want to hear this? Is an honest to God true story, and you just nailed it on that. Baby Driver was the first song that I played to anybody. My mother and my sister were in the next room, and I wouldn't let them watch me. I go, okay, I'm going to play you a song. You have to sit in the next room and listen because I'm too embarrassed Dude, Baby Driver, bro.
Loving it.
That was awesome.
That is really one of the and I've played that. I was just playing it for Famous the other night. I was like, listen to the multiple guitar lines and then like that Motown-esque vocal thing at the end.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a sick jam on that. Plus he's singing in his voice as because when I was playing that whole Rock and Roll Over, and she heard Hard Luck Woman, was like, is this some a Rod Stewart song? I was like, no, that's his voice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's like he had like a jazzy feel to his rock, and he might not have been technically efficient as all that, but it's like he's got this vibe, man. I was, when I'm friends with Eric Singer now, the new Peter Criss, he puts the whiskers on, and Eric's such a powerhouse, and we were talking about the feel that he's got to play kind of like Peter and mix with his, and it's crazy,
He's a monster. I've met him, seen him a bunch. He is a very, very good drummer, and people don't think of Peter as a real.
Yeah.
So you're the first guy ever that said that to me. So Peter is one, Terry's another one.
Yeah.
And is that number 1 and 2?
I would say Buddy Rich, because I'm not a big jazzer, but like what he did on the drum kit and made it speak, and just his chops and the attack and his attitude was just so grimy and greasy, and I'm the best drummer on the planet, watch this, I'm going to throw it down your throat. He had a pastor in a church to a kid on their, you know what I mean, on their toes, up freaking out about it. It was amazing, so, I mean, yeah, man, I mean, like, Phil Rudd, AC/DC, all, anyone that just, like, brings it. That's what like when you go to a concert, see me play, if I'm tired, jet like that on my mind, I bring it, because, like, if you're paying money to see a concert, if I always picture what would it be like if I was in the audience, and give me a show. I don't want to see a waiting for the bus look on the drummer's face and looking around. Give me a show. Bring it.
I like that, waiting for the bus look.
Yeah.
I got to use that one. And when I'm doing an interview, please don't have the waiting for the bus look. I get it. That's a good one. All right, my favorites would be, you already sort of named one. My 2 favorites would have to be John Bonham and Cozy Powell.
Wow, yeah, big time. Yep, forgot about Cozy. Bonham definitely. Cozy doesn't get enough credit, if you ask me.
Never gets enough credit. I always like to give him that extra.
Yeah, well, good. There we go. It's out there. It's out now.
Yeah, he's a solid brother. And when you think about this, we mentioned it a little as we go to let you go, because we could talk to DeRay all night. He's obviously a really nice guy. We talked briefly about this new record, and it has the possibility to be an alienator for some folks because of just what you named, which is the band are in another experimental stage, this dubstep movement. Skrillex is the tune is already out, giving you, I guess, like a taste of what may be to come. As a guy who I'm assuming doesn't dig drum machines, because you're a natural, rhythm instrument yourself. Describe what the sound of this record's going to be and how much of an electronic feel it's going to have.
Well, it's definitely going to have. It's night and day from the last record. Korn 3, Remember Who You Are, was like, we had 2-inch tape, no click tracks, 4 guys in a room, just
Ampex 456.
Full blown, man. I would love to go fix some drums on that record, but you know what? I'm really proud of it now, because it's just what it is and the feel. This record, however, like, it's really different for me, because I'm using a lot of triggers now live. I'm going to be using, a lot of the stuff on the record. The drums are so locked up, because that's the sound, that's the feel and the way it's supposed to be. So to me, it took me a little bit to swallow, but now I love the sound so much, and I love the energy of it, that I really dig it. Most drummers, it's a nightmare for them, but to me, I'm having a blast with it, and just adding that element to Korn. That's what I love about them. They're not afraid to experiment. You know what I mean? It's like their fans are really loyal. Like Untitled sounds nothing like See You on the Other Side. It sounds like or the Korn 3, but it all comes back to identifiable Korn sound, so no one sings like Jonathan on the planet, So.
And it is hard. It's the balance between having that signature sound that your fans expect, and then also being able to experiment. And this is going to be a weird record. I can just tell it's going to be one of those real challenging ones for folks. Is there an acoustic? I had heard there might be even something acoustic mixed in there. Is that true or not?
I don't know about that. Records, until it's like shrink wrapped in my hand, anything's possible. So, you never know.
Yeah, that's a great way with the way that the business is headed these days. And as just a final note for you, you've got this coming up. You said you're going to go back into the studio and then bang out a handful of dates interspersed with more studio work. Is there a specific timeline for when the record's going to drop?
Not sure. They're saying end of August, but I would say more like in September, the way it's looking. Korn.com has a lot of updates, and we're really trying to keep fans up with it, so everyone check out Korn.com.
Okay. And I will keep on there myself. Ray Luzier, it has been a pleasure to get to talk with you, and thanks. Hope this wasn't a drag for you.
Oh, man, it was awesome, man. Good talking to you.
Awesome. Thank you.